The No Tax on Tips Act has unanimously passed the United States Senate. And I think when Donald Trump does something good, it's worth giving him his flowers, and he deserves a huge bouquet of them for this. It passed 100-0. The Senate doesn't do anything unanimously. But when this came up, because it had the support of populist Democrats, as well as Trump and some other Republicans, in fact, the lead sponsor was Ted Cruz, then the center just buckled. The center just gave into this thing and said, fine, we don't want to be on the wrong end of something this popular. Now, I read through the legislation. It's quite short. If you go to congress.gov, you can find it. Just search for the bill, No Tax on Tips Act. But what it basically says is your income has to be under $165,000 a year for this to apply to you, and it will give you a $25,000 credit toward tips that you get. Now, this is for people who do not itemize. If you itemize, you also get it. But a lot of people do not itemize on the taxes because they don't make enough money for it to be worth it. They just take the standard deduction. So if you're one of those people, this would still apply to you. So you'd get to apply this on top of your standard deduction, which is roughly like $15,000 or so. And so the way that the bill is written, and it still has to pass the House, is that even if you can't prove that you've gotten $25,000 worth of tips, it looks like, I think a lot of people are still going to claim that they got $25,000 worth of tips. I'm not saying you should do that. In fact, I would advise you not to do that because it's illegal and you should not do illegal things. But the way it's written, let's say there are about $10,000 in tips that you got, through credit cards. You're a bartender waiting tables. The way it's written, it mentions cash as well. It seems like a lot of people could write down that they got an additional $15,000 as tips so that they can get that entire $25,000 credit. Now, a lot of people who make less than $50,000, less than $75,000 a year, in the end, because of deductions and such, don't end up paying much in the way of any taxes at all. What this will do is raise that threshold, and it'll wipe that tax bill out for people, and it'll raise the threshold for people who aren't going to have to pay federal tax. As somebody who waited tables for many years, this is, I think, very welcome. And I think it's fine to say, good for Donald Trump. This still has to go through the House, and it could get into his one big beautiful bill, this reconciliation bill, or it could go through as a standalone measure. Now, it expires in 4 years, this legislation, which is how they kept the price tag of it. It's something like a couple $100 billion this is going to cost. But look, it's going to make people who work hard, it's going to make things a little bit easier for them. And there's not much good happening in this world, so might as well celebrate that.